Is this thing on? Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, children of all ages, it is that time of the week again when we start the Old Humble Distilling Company Happy Hour 2.0, and I am your host, the Old Humble Guy himself. Cheers and salutations. This is episode number 20 of the Old Humble Distilling Company's Happy Hour 2.0. Cheers to chat. I see Moose Gal, Heartsight are both in the house. Cheers to both of you. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for coming in. In the very beginning, y'all would, I guess y'all would count as the early adopters, the beta users, the first in. Y'all are going to be the ones who will know before anybody else that if you subscribe today, when we get up to, well, y'all are already subscribed, but when we get up to 550 subscribers, we are going to be doing another whiskey giveaway, which will be awesome and exciting and fun and cool. I am using a different system today. You can see it's a whole new setup. Actually, you probably can't see that it's a whole new setup. That's what I was playing with earlier. That's why you know what I'm not doing? I am not recording this. Hey, you know what? Let's reset. Because I can do that. Stop that. Start recording. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, children of all ages, we are back with the 20th episode of the Old Humble Distilling Company Happy Hour version 2.0. I am your host, the Old Humble Guy. My left chair, Lisa, is not with us tonight. She is, I don't know what she's doing, but she's not with us tonight. That's cool. We are talking karma tonight on tonight's show. But before we do that, basic housekeeping stuff to clean up and take care of, we have got cheers McTubus, cheers Heartsight, cheers Moose Gal. Welcome to the party. Glad to have you on board. We are going to, this Saturday, this is a very, very exciting and momentous event. This Saturday, we are going to have the first ever live concert from the Old Humble Distilling Company. We're going to be at the distillery. We're going to be in the woods. We are going to have our very own good friend, JBZ, playing. And if I were on top of my game, I would have that graphic that I could show you. But I'm not on top of my game. Because this is all new. I'm working through this as we speak. I'm like actually doing it right now. And this may work, this may not. We shall see. I should have the Old Humble in the Woods thumbnail. I do. I have it right there. JBZ Live in the Woods with the Old Humble Distilling Company. If I can add this into the show, I'll show you. There it is. JBZ live from Old Humble. Whoops, that's my camera. I need to lock that in. Live from Old Humble. He will be playing. He will be playing live at the distillery. In fact, I think what I want to do is have this up there so I can just go, boop, there it is. He'll be playing live at the distillery Saturday. We will be live streaming that show from 1 to 4 o'clock. Oop, that's the background. Don't want that. We'll be live streaming that from 1 to 4 o'clock, assuming it starts on time. It may not start on time. It may start a little bit late. You know how artists are. But we'll be streaming the whole thing from when he starts, probably from right before when he starts to right after when he ends. Cocktails. His music will be uninterrupted. I'll do some little nonsense before that. Maybe do a couple of cocktails, talk to some people, and do some stuff. It'll be fun. It'll be awesome. This is the first time. Hang on. Let me see if I can bring up the chat window. Is this the one? Yeah, there we go. Looky there. This is the first time you see me in the crystal chair. I don't even know what that means. Oh, this crystal clear, not crystal chair, doy. Yeah, well, you see, here's the thing. Because this is a new setup, put that right there. Yeah, because this is a brand new setup, I can go back, blink there. fucking awesome. I love this because this is a brand new setup. I'm using a better camera, but not just is it a better camera, because this camera is actually just as good as this camera, which is the camera that I normally use, but because I'm not going through StreamYard, which limits the quality that I can stream out at, I can actually go take my 1080p or whatever this is, 4K, and go straight through OBS, straight to YouTube without getting all the limiting factors that I have from StreamYard. And you'll also see I'm not glitching like I was last week. No max headroom moments. It is all high quality, high caliber, streaming goodness that you find folks deserve, quite frankly. The type of stuff that I wanted, this is going to be the quality that we will be bringing, the heat we will be bringing from the distillery for our good friend Jay, uh, while he is at the while he's at the distillery doing his show as well. And I've got my screens here. I've got chat over here. I've got chat over here. If I want to highlight chat again, I can just switch screens, go whoop, there's chat again. Although I think it's being cut off down here at the bottom. Let me see if I can fix that. With this, there we go. Yeah, I can extend chat all the way to there, and that's when it'll start scrolling. I can move chat there. I can move it back out if I want to back it out. And this is something I've asked my handlers if we could do this and confirmed that we will. Go back to the intro screen. Is that where it's at? When we hit 550 subscribers, that's the number we're at right now, 527. When we hit 550, well, I'll be giving away a bottle of whiskey. Let's go. So Saturday, we've got Jay's show, Jay's concert from the distillery live from Old Humble. It is actually, the live show is set up and ready to go right now. So if you want to put a reminder on it so that you don't miss it, you can go to the page. There it is. Click the little whatever bell or whatever button it is that you have to click to remind you that that's there. I'm also doing a daily Vlogentine special. I literally set this show up in 15 minutes because Lisa confirmed that she was not going to be making it onto the show 15 minutes ago. Well, she didn't confirm. She just didn't answer when I asked her, like for sure, because she said she's probably not going to make it like 45 minutes ago, but she confirmed she's not going to make it by not answering. Where is my love and other delights? I think that's it. Is that the one I'm looking for? That's episode 1. That's not really what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the thumbnail for the entire series. But, yeah, that's episode 1. That'll do, I suppose. So our Vlogentine special, that's it right there. That's the thumbnail, I think. Yeah, let's hit that up there. So this is our Vlogentine special. Love and Other Delights. It is a 14-part series because I liked I like doing the vlog style series so much with the Christmas series that I decided to go ahead and do it again with Valentine's. We're talking about relationships. We're doing relationships and how to find them, how to keep them, how to fix them, how to maintain them. You know, care and feeding of relationships, and not just romantic relationship, like any relationship. You know, college buddies, friends with benefits. You know, all that fun stuff. So those are 2 shows that we have right now going on right now. We've got Jay posted up, ready to go on Saturday, and then daily post. These are like 6 to 10 minutes. Today's was 10 minutes. Yesterday's was 6. I try to keep it in the 6 to 10 minute range because I've got other stuff to do in the morning. And then here's the other exciting thing. Next week, I'm going to start working on a new show that we'll be able to post twice a week. I'm thinking it's going to be Monday and Wednesday. I haven't quite worked out the schedule yet. I have a little notebook that I'm trying to work the schedule out where we actually will read, where I pull up a couple of news articles and it's just straight up plain old whiskey news. We'll look over one article of news in the whiskey world that happened in the last several days, and we will talk about actual whiskey news because I figure I'm a distillery. I'm not really a whiskey channel, but I could be a whiskey channel. We're more of a variety entertainment type of thing, but whiskey's my industry. I should at least be keeping a little bit of an eye, mostly focus on like craft and Texas whiskeys as best I can. But whatever news comes up, um, I need a piece of. You know what? Screw it. I was going to bother my lovely wife for a chunk of ice, but she's. I'm not going to harass her for ice. This is my double oak straight rye. This is what we are drinking tonight on tonight's happy hour. So crack your bottles and bottoms up. Enjoy your own craft cocktail for the night. Again, topic for the night is karma, and we'll be getting into that in just a couple of minutes. I need to see what time it is. That is one thing that I can see on StreamYard very easily that I cannot easily see on my phone. I don't have an active timer feature yet that I've found on OBS. I'm going to find it and post it up there because I really, really, really like the OBS platform. OBS is a joy. It really is. And I got away from using this platform for a few months because it was really easy to loop in co-host with StreamYard and do StreamYard stuff that way. But with OBS, if I'm flying solo like I am tonight, because Lisa couldn't make it in. If I'm flying solo, OBS is great, man. I don't have to muck around with the bouncing it through Chrome. Turns out last week I had 17 instances of Chrome running in the background, which is why Chrome was getting all glitchy on me because it was like confusing itself with itself. I don't know why there were 17 instances of Chrome running. I went through and just like cleared out all of them from the task manager. Most of them weren't even doing anything. It was just something going on with the coding. And then when I cleared all that out, uninstalled it, reinstalled it, recorded a show with Lisa earlier this week. In fact, that was the map of tiny little things. That's another periodic show that we're doing right now. I can pull up that graphic. Old Humble Reviews. That's the name of the show, Old Humble Reviews, where we review something. It's our periodic installments where we review something. And this is the thumbnail of our most recent episode. Is this it? Yeah. Hit that up there. There it is. Thank you, Cambot. Put that in still store. Where is it at? That's the background I'm moving. Don't want to move that. Come on. You stay put. I need to lock that in too. And that's another cool thing I can do with OBS is I can lock in my camera, locked, thank you, and my background, locked, thank you. Now, the map of tiny little things. This is a very charming movie, available on Amazon Prime. Old Humble Reviews is our periodic show where Old Humble reviews a thing. We've done 2 movies. The first one was Don't Look Up. We've done this one, The Map of Tiny Perfect Things. The next thing we review will be food and or drink. I did a poll on our community tab. Y'all spoke. I listened. I am looking at the prospect of a handmade old-fashioned versus a bottled old-fashioned. They have those pre-mixes for old-fashions. I'd like to put them side by side and see how close the mixes are to a good, true, handmade old-fashioned, and see which one's better, which one's, the differences between the two. I'm infinitely curious about that. And as we talked about 3-4 weeks ago, me and my buddy are going to go to the men's club for the steak buffet, and me and him will do a review of the steak buffet. We're not going to do a review of the they almost certainly won't let me actually take footage of the stage at the and YouTube wouldn't let me put footage from the stage on the Old Humble Review show. But it's like $15 ribeyes, I think it was, from Rick's. Not Rick's, the men's club. So yeah, me and my buddy Carl, we've already talked about it. We've already talked about the logistics. It'll either be, well, I'm not sure which Friday it's going to be because the next couple of Fridays is like Valentine's Day. But that was the idea, that going to a $15 steak buffet at a strip club would be a great date night because even if you're bored with your date, if you're a dude, you're bored with the date, you have a stage show. And even if you're bored with the stage show, even if you're bored with the stage show, dude, it's a $15 steak. Like, how can you go wrong? I mean, you can go wrong with $15 steaks, but at the very, very least, you got a decent steak out of it, and you only paid $15. It's not like you paid $40 for a steak. I mean, lower your expectations when you're paying $15 for a steak, but at the very least, you get a steak. So that's kind of cool. And this show, if you're watching this show on Monday, you're probably watching the recorded upload of this show because I'm going to start taking these shows. I need to take the map of Tiny Perfect Things off the screen, please. I need to come up with a new name for my technician. Miguel? No, I don't want to go with Miguel. Mark? No. Tom? Steve? I've had Greg. Steve. I can go with Steve. Steve will be my new technician. Steve, you good with that? Yeah, I'm good. All right, thanks, Steve. Let's take a quick look at chat, and then we'll get on to the discussion of karma, because we are right point in the show, I believe, where we start talking about the big idea for the day. Let's look at chat. Holy cow. I need to come up with a better system for chat, because this is bad. Let me see if I can figure this out. I can see it okay. I mean, it's there. I can see it. I can see it on the side of my screen, but my chat window over here that I'm actually reading is not that big. Uh, if Okay, Moose Gal, what is that? Imagine if I sweat. All right, zoom in over here. I'm zooming in myself. Uh, yes, thank you, Moose Gal. Very crystal clear. Okay, as we scan down, this is where we left off. McTubus hadn't seen me this clear. Not sure how he feels about it. Then Moose Gal, very clear, not breaking up. Yes. Uh, Doofus. Yep. I'm good with that. I wear that mantle myself. Yeah, it is. This is HD plus. It is 4K. It's a camera that I bought off of our friend uh, uh, Micah. Got the camera from Micah's Mix. It was one of his first cameras that he used. He doesn't use it anymore. Um, and yes, actually, Moose Gal, if you see me in the distillery when I do my lives from the distillery, I do tend to break a sweat when I'm working because it gets hot. Um, and there's Nightbot, where you can find us on Twitter and Instagram. What if I highlight over here? Does that translate over there? Because this is the screen. Did that do anything? What if I scroll this up? Does that change it? No. Okay. So this chat screen here, this chat screen here that you see is the website that I have on my screen over here, next to my computer. And well, it's its own website, I guess. So it's not actually watching that screen. It's its own thing. Anyway, that's enough of that. Let's get out of there. All right. So this show, greetings to everybody on Monday and Tuesday when you see it. I am announcing a bold and ambitious plan for the year 2022 for my YouTube channel. To date, since we've been active with shows since March of 2020, so almost 2 years of active activity when I've kind of learned how to start doing live streaming and learned how to do all this stuff. Uh, we've gotten about 40,000 views. Not a huge number, it's not like off the charts impressive or anything, but again, I've told this to people again and again and again and again. I'm not a YouTuber with a distillery. I'm a distiller with a YouTube channel. My focus is making whiskey and selling whiskey, and the shows come next after that. This is kind of filling in our spare time and kind of our marketing arm, building a community of good people and entertainment. I would be perfectly happy if you tuned into our YouTube channel and watched our live music and participated in our discussions, and that was the only interaction the company had with you. I would like it even better, not gonna lie, I would like it even better if at some point you went out and bought a bottle of whiskey. Um, but our goal first with this channel is to entertain. Goal two with this channel is to sell whiskey. I think selling the whiskey kind of comes with the entertainment, and you know, building the community and entertaining and having fun and being relaxed and just, you know, kind of getting to know me and getting to know the company. That's kind of the idea. So if 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 the result from that is we sell whiskey, great, fantastic. That's kind of the point, but it's not the purpose. You understand what I'm saying? I think you understand what I'm saying. If you don't understand what I'm saying, you can send me a message and I'll try to explain it better. So that said, the like numbers and the analytics, those are pretty much arbitrary numbers to me. Whether we get monetized or not is probably not that big of a deal because we're probably never going to do like memberships and super chats and stuff like that because the whole point is to build a, you know, build the outreach, build the community, and make it kind of an open forum for people to participate with the fun that we're trying to have as a company. Um, so, you know, it'd all be AdSense and stuff like that. And AdSense is not going to make a whole lot of money monetization for a whiskey company because we are, at our heart, deep down, sin merchants. That's what we do. We're good at being sin merchants too. You know, I don't need these in my ears. Um, we're good at that. So the ultimate goal, obviously, is to have fun, get the name out there, and through interaction, build a brand, build a name, build a community, and from that community, then sell whiskey. So come, have fun with us, enjoy your time with us. That's great. Kick up your feet, throw back a glass, you know, glass of water if that's what you want. I'm good with it. I'm good with it. But as sin merchants, we're not really going to get a whole lot of ad money either. So the monetization isn't going to be that huge of a deal. But if we can get a local band, a local singer songwriter, a local artist, uh, exposure to 10,000 fresh sets of eyeballs, that would be awesome. You know, get a new local band exposure to markets that they haven't been able to reach yet, and then they get to go on tour from Houston to San Antonio to Dallas and back to Houston and hit a bunch of small towns in between. That would be great for those bands and great for the communities that they get to interact with. If we get a small band that comes into our distillery and they strike a note with some bar owner in uh, Alexandria, Louisiana, and boom, they get to go on a quick little tour of Louisiana, go from Alexandria down to Shreveport and across into Forest Hill, and then down into Lafayette and out through New Orleans and back over to Lake Jackson or Lake Charles and into Beaumont and Houston. That'd be a great good time, a good month for them. So that's kind of the overall goal of the numbers. The numbers by themselves don't really mean a whole lot, and they're just, you know, arbitrary. We all want more, obviously. Um, but all that was basically to throw down the gauntlet and announce that I have challenged myself to go from 40,000 views to 100,000 views in the next 10 months. By the end of this year, basically do what I did last year, which was about 25 times over. Which, as I'm learning more about this, getting better quality cameras, getting better quality output, getting uh, better quality shows and more shows, more ideas to be able to put shows, as I can kind of cram them into the time that I have to be able to do it. As long as it's not taking me an hour and a half or 2 hours or 6 hours to do a show twice a week, this is our big show. 2 hours, happy hour, 9 p.m. Thursday night, every week. This is our big one. Saturday will be our next big one when we have our music shows, live, Old Humble live, or live from Old Humble. That's what I think that's what we're going to be calling it. Live from Old Humble, the music of whoever it is. Um, as we start doing more of those, that's going to be 5 hours of live streaming a week, 6 hours of live streaming a week, and then a couple more of these shows where we record them live. It's kind of one take, maybe two takes. If we screw something up and we kind of start over, like I did tonight when I forgot to start recording, and I just reset the show. The people watching it on Monday aren't going to see that part. They're just going to see the part where we kicked it off the second time. Um, as we start doing more of that, and we start getting more of an opportunity to give more exposure to more local groups and more local bands and more local merchants, then I think I'm going to be able to see a lot more uh, productivity coming out of the channel, and y'all will get to see a lot more going on at the distillery. I mean, next week is a perfect example. I have 3 live streams planned from the distillery next week, where I'll be bottling whiskey, boxing up bottles, and I mean, last week we did a couple of live streams where I built a couple of tables. In fact, I learned a lesson not to have my radio on while I'm building tables, because the second one, where I was building the table on the 29th of January, I had the radio on, and 3 songs that were playing on the radio got me blocked. So my show got taken down. I'm gonna have to go back and mute the music out of the show, so that the show can actually be shown on YouTube. But it was just the radio in the background. Uh, Oops, whoopsie. I did a bad thing. Actually, I didn't do a bad thing. I just had the radio on to entertain myself. Mm, that is delightful. That is absolutely delightful. But more stuff coming from the distillery itself, as I've got better equipment that I can actually have set up there all the time. So that's my big announcement for today, is that I've challenged myself, and this is what I'll even do. I'll have a running ticker on my show starting next week, where I announce the number that we're at each week. So it's going to be slow going for the first couple of months, but because we're going to go from 40,000 probably to 41 to 42, probably not even 41 or 42, probably 40,000 to 40,500 to 40,100 or 41,000, as we slowly grow the views over the first couple of weeks and first couple of months, until hopefully, if things go as planned and as expected, I'll start gathering up a little bit of steam and hitting the marks that we're looking to hit towards July and August, and hopefully be on track for that 100K mark. So tell your friends, tell your family, tell your enemies, tell your brothers and sisters, tell your lovers, tell your spouses, tell everyone you can. Old Humble is making some moves, and when we hit our next subscriber mark, which is, where is it? Browser? Is that what it is? I'm looking for I think it was browser that I need, and it's the count. Yeah, that's the one. When we hit 550 subs, there will be where's the button? Whiskey giveaway. Come on, open up. Oh, that's huge. That's what she said. There will be a whiskey giveaway. See, I can do stuff like that when Lisa's not around. I can say that's what she said all afternoon when Lisa's not around. She can't yell at me. She's like a radar detector. Minding your own business, going down the road, and then all of a sudden, meemer, meemer, meemer. Yeah, yeah, that's it. I think Bill Burr used to say that about spouses. Like they're like radar detectors. I think that was a Bill Burr bit. I can't remember. Yo, Walter Kurt is in the house. Cheers to Walter. Clink. Cheers, my man. And speaking of which, let's take a quick look at chat. I'll hide the whiskey giveaway information. But yeah, when we hit 550 subs, boom, right there. We're at 527. When we hit 550, I give away a bottle of whiskey. At 600, our 600 subscriber show will be a live show from the distillery, and it will involve explosives. And this is such a ridiculous idea. Even my children say it's crazy, and they want to be there and help me do it. Like if Lisa says it's a bad idea, you know it's a good idea. My spouse, my lovely wife, she says it's a bad idea, you know it's a good idea. When my children say it's a bad idea, it's almost certainly a bad idea, and that's why they want to be there with me. This is going to be amazing, absolutely amazing. And speaking of which, the 500 subscriber show, It's ridiculously cold outside. I know I've kind of teased as to whether or not I may have already recorded it. I haven't already recorded it. The weather has been just shit the last 4 weeks, 5 weeks. But now I have a good camera with a chip, and this is the camera that I'll take with me when I go. And I have another camera that I can take with me when I go, so I'll get a good solid 6 hours or so of recording. Um, so, I mean, I'm going to be there for 12. 6 hours of recording. I'll record most of the time I'm there. The rest of the time I'm going to be asleep. So, but for those of you who don't remember, the 500 subscriber special was the haunted cemetery here in Humble that I will be spending the night in, and I believe I have a graphic for that image. I do not have the graphic for that. That is not currently. I do not have the graphic for that. That is on my graphics server, and I haven't downloaded that picture. It's on the StreamYard. It's in StreamYard, but it's not in my computer because I deleted a lot of files. Anywho, we'll come back to that. Let's look at, this is one of my favorite features that I can do. Let's look at chat. Whoop, there it is. The sound effect's mine. There it goes. Update it, speed up, catch up. We've had deleted messages. This is like awesome. We get spam bots coming in. This will be the real test. Will Joe get to see? Yeah, I did. I saw the nuke troll. He's right there. Inessa, what is his name? Inessa Bezrukova. Hey, when Russia knows I'm here, and Safety Doc is in the house. Safety Doc, cheers. Dude, Safety Doc, I want to get you on the show. I want to carry on that discussion that you were having the other night about AI and futuristic stuff, because you have done the research for the trends going into the future. You've done the research, you've written the book, literally written the book. You've done the research, speed of information. Get it at your favorite bookseller as soon as it's available in April, and write a review for the Safety Doc because he's like a good guy and stuff. But I want to get you on the show because my specialty is business infrastructure and logistics, and I want to talk about how logistics and infrastructure meets the future, and what how you cram those square pegs through the round holes of current business infrastructure and current. I find that I find it to be fascinating. I find it to be a rousing, fascinating, fun conversation. Most people think I'm just a nerd, but you, my friend, you are my kind of nerd, and that's the kind of conversation we can have all day long. I think it would be a great show. Um, the velocity of information. I think I said it was the speed of information. That is incorrect. No, my friend, this is not StreamYard. This is OBS. My first streaming mistress was OBS. And this is a beautiful format. You don't have the quality limitations that you get with StreamYard, that unless you're paying for the high dollar premium. You don't have the issue where you're going through a website. This is streaming out from my computer to YouTube directly. As I was doing that, I like froze just for a second, but I think I froze just for a second because I bumped a thing. And it is, as good as your camera gets is as good as it'll stream out. And then the only quality issues is what y'all downloaded at. And in this chat right here, this is straight up just live chat brought in from YouTube. I could crop this off here. Nope. You crop. I could crop that off there, and I could probably chroma key out this background, but I don't know how yet. I don't know how to do that yet. I could put in my own background, like frame it, drop in a picture frame basically around it, and kind of do a graphic thing. I can do the same thing down here on the scroll. I can put a little graphic thing where it fades from probably here. It starts the fade. I guess it goes solid from here, and then it fades out to there, so you get kind of that fading in, or the scroll fading out. Yeah, see, the great thing about StreamYard is that you can bring in a guest much easier than you can with OBS. There's plugins that you can do with OBS. It's OBS Ninja, which used to be Video, or Ninja Video Ninja. Can't remember what it's called, but it's Ninja something. That you can connect up people. You can go with Skype. You can go with Zoom. That's what I did in the early days. I did Zoom with OBS. I've never done Skype with OBS, but you can do stuff like that. I put the Zoom screen up, and then do an overlay over the Zoom screen, so it would kind of cut us out, have little holes for our heads, so it looked like StreamYard. But you're at that point you're using your internet twice, once for Zoom and once and it for a home stream off of a home service that gets kind of boggy. From the distillery, I'll be able to do that easy, because the distillery has much faster upload speeds. But tonight's conversation, let's get on with the big conversation, shall we? I've done all of the housekeeping stuff that I need to do. I've chatted and talked and da 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 da. And just a quick reminder, when we hit 550 subs, we get a whiskey giveaway. Can I group those together? Can I do that? Can I make a group? I think I can. So that all I have to do is hit the one button. Where's the set color? No. Order, transition, hide and mixer, scale filtering, properties. There, group selected items. Yeah, so now instead of hitting them both, I just hit, come on, go there. I hit that. There, yeah, they come and go. Boop, look, I can even make them strobe by just hitting that button. When we hit 550 subs, I will give away a bottle of whiskey. I will put it in a box on the show, put it in a box, or open the box, sign the bottle, put the bottle in the box, and send it out to somebody. I don't know who it'll be. I'll just bring it to the post office, give it to them, and say, send this to somebody. And put a little note in the box, say, hey, when you get this, call me. I'm kidding. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do it random. That'd be stupid. Glory to Tuna Empire, my man. Lisa couldn't make it, my man. Let's go back to chat. Whoop! There it is. The sound effect is mine. I think that's appropriate to have that particular sound effect when I do a screen wipe. Whoop! Oh, that's just a cut though. Whoop! See? Anyway, Lisa couldn't make it. It's just me, my man. But it's me in high definition, high quality videographic. That's not even a fucking word. What's this? Oh, nope. I forgot I had that screen in there. I'll be back. We'll get to that one at the end of the show. But tonight we're talking about karma. So put your comments in about karma. This stemmed from a conversation that I had, a little back and forth on the Twitters from somebody who I actually vaguely know. I met him one time in person. We're vaguely connected. And generally speaking, T-Doc says, I went to the post office today as someone in Canada wants a signed copy of the book. They'll cost them $22 in postage. They were like, sure thing. I've tried to go and send stuff to Canada. When I send stuff to Canada from Texas, it's like $55, and that's when I use stamps.com. I tried sending a box through U.S. Postal Service from the little drop and ship place down the street, and they were like, it's going to cost $65 to send it to, I think I was sending it to New Mexico. And I was like, you're full of shit. It's like $12 to send it through from at home. I'm going to go back home and do it myself. Screw you guys. I was just trying to be convenient. They were like, nope, no convenience for you, sir. Okay, so back to karma. So this was a conversation I was having with this guy. He had made some kind of snarky remark. Somebody had made some kind of remark. Not him. He didn't start it off. He responded. But somebody had said something along the lines of something, let God sort it out. And this guy, my acquaintance, I call him an acquaintance. I've met him a couple times. I've met him one time. He chimes in. He says, well, God's make believe. You might as well just let karma deal with it. Karma will get him, which I always find funny, just on the surface, because when somebody says, "Well, karma will deal with it," they're like confident that karma, some mystical karma force, will strike this person down, and I immediately think to myself in my head, like, you're thinking ill is going to happen to somebody is grounds for like karmic retribution. So you better hope you're thinking of make believe shit. So anyway, he says his snide little karma comment, and me being the friendly netizen that I am, I'm like, well, karma's make believe too, so you might as well just take the matter into your own hands. you know, ribbon him a little bit. Excuse me, as one is wont to do. And that's what kicked off the discussion, because I have gone on record several times as stating, and Lisa, just this annoys Lisa to no end, but I've gone on record several times stating quite plainly my belief that good and evil are creations of man. Good and evil do not exist in fact. They don't exist. It doesn't exist out there as entities, as a tangible item. Good and evil change over time depending on what society is defining as good and what society is defining as evil. Like, for example, in this day and age, we consider genocide to be pretty much evil. Yeah, I mean, you don't generally go out and commit genocides because genocides are considered to be one of the things that people do that is considered to be evil, right? Like, you don't just go out and murder everybody in the village. You're not, that's considered to be morally inappropriate, to say the very least. Captain Understatement says that's inappropriate. At the very least, it's inappropriate. I mean, the max, it's war crimes. Well, it's probably not even the max, it's war crimes. At the max, it's like you're condemned to hell forever. If you do it bad enough, if you do a big enough genocide, like, people quit naming their babies after you. I mean, you don't see many people this day and age named Adolf. You don't see a whole lot of, well, we don't see a whole lot. I never saw anybody named Pol Pot. You still see people named Jeffrey, and that dude ate people. Jeffrey Dahmer he killed them and ate them, but he only did it like, what, 6 times. So they're like, we can still name our kids Jeffrey. That's no big deal. But, you don't come across a whole lot of Adolfs. You still come across, Harolds. Wasn't that Harold Eichmann? Anyway, still come across those guys. Josephs, plenty of Josephs. And Stalin was a full-on mad dictator who murdered a whole bunch of people. But Stalin didn't commit genocide. You see, therein lies the difference. You commit a big enough, bad enough genocide, they don't name the babies after you. That's a bad thing. However, and here's the caveat to the whole thing. It hasn't always been considered evil. It hasn't always been considered bad. It hasn't always been considered something that was morally reprehensible and something that would condemn you to, because otherwise the God of the Bible in the Old Testament wouldn't have ordered his people to do it like 6 times. So, good and evil, even within a society, changes significantly over time. And yeah, I know there's a whole bunch of yeah buts and yeah buts and yeah buts of why it was justified in biblical times and it's not justified now. But if good is good and evil is evil, then good doesn't change and evil doesn't. If they exist in the wild and it's just something for us to discover and understand, then it exists and it's a tangible, well, it's not tangible, but it's a cementable thing. It's a thing that is immutable, an immutable fact of good and evil. You can either be good or be evil. So that's the baseline argument that I start with. And if good and evil are not concrete, solid, tangible things, then karma can't be real. And the reason I say that is because you could do good and cause harm. And if you do good thinking you've done good and you cause harm, karma is very, 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 very much a relativistic idea. And it can only be applied in a very narrow band of 1 or 2 degrees, because if you go out 3 or 4 or 5 degrees, well, now you're starting to run into a lot of people that you don't know and didn't even know you ran into from your actions. For example, you're a doctor, you save someone's life. That someone goes on to murder people. You had a hand, you saved a person's life. That person then went on, your actions led to that person still having breath in his lungs and blood in his veins to then go on and do the evil that he did. You are, by degrees, participating in that evil. You didn't do it. You didn't raise your hand. You didn't strike him down. You didn't do it. Your actions led to it being done. Just like you don't starve people to death when you burn down an entire field of grain. You didn't kill those people. You killed the grain. They went off and starved. Starving is all about them. They did it all themselves. But even the Bible says that if you cause them to die, then you are just as culpable in their death as the person that actually caused them to die directly. So there's the initial challenge to the idea of karma, is that you can't possibly know the ripple effects of your actions. You may intend for them to be good. You may have intended to, I saved a life. I intended for good. It's like the whole, go back in time, would you kill baby Hitler? Like, fuck yeah, I'd kill baby Hitler. I don't understand why that's such a moral quandary for people. Like, it's baby Hitler. Like, you like pop him in half, just done. Hop in your time machine and go back to the future. But this is where Lisa would be sitting next to me going, "Stop it!" Like running her running her radar detector at me. There's a lot of there's no question about the evil and carnage that is caused by war. Millions of people through World War I, World War II, into the hot points of the Cold War, millions of people were killed, millions of people were displaced, hundreds of millions of you still see the ripple effects of that loss of population and loss of generations in population trends today. Every 25 years or so, there's an echo bust in the population in Russia, where they lost an entire generation of people, and that lost generation, like in the population trend in Russia, you see where it dips in for the people lost during World War II, and then it booms out, and then it dips, and it booms out, and it dips, and it booms out, and it dips. That's an echo bust that it doesn't. It's not the trend that we see here in the United States of the population growing. Europe's the same way. World War One basically brought down the nobility system in England and undid years of colonial rule, which was another good that came out of World War One. But the resulting restructuring of society that came after World War One in Europe led to uh, the, the the international monetization system that we have today, led to the creation of the European Union, led to the creation of NATO, led to the creation of universal health care throughout Europe, led to integration of world economies, led to the societal and economic restructuring that happened after World War II, changed the way the world works largely for good in a way that wouldn't have happened as quickly. It may have happened had World War II been averted, but it would not have happened as quickly. It certainly wouldn't have happened as quickly. And it probably wouldn't have led if World War II had been averted, the Soviet Union may not have been defeated by the economic strength of the West. Arguably, that's a whole nother discussion to have. But arguably, the Soviet Union was beaten by economics, not war. Uh, and our low interest rate and low inflation environment basically destroyed the Soviet Union. And that's a whole nother discussion to be had, but not one to be had tonight, because tonight we're talking about karma, which is fake. Well, make believe. I won't say fake. It's make believe because we see it, maybe not fake. Um, but that's the challenge that you end up facing, is identifying the evil and isolating the evil, and identifying the good and isolating the good. So one can say you'd go back and I'd murder baby Hitler in a heartbeat. But if you murder baby Hitler, do you end up with the European Union? Do you end up with NATO? Do you end up with uh, universal health care throughout Europe? Do you end up with integrated world economies? Do you end up with a monetization system that we have? Do you end up with all the stuff that we have in the world that we have today? Or do you end up with something different and unexpected, because a whole lot of things have to happen for us to get to where we're at, assuming where we're at is the best of all worlds, which is also debatable, uh, absent a giant social restructuring that happens when hundreds of millions of people are lost in a war. Complicated historical questions. Complicated so much so that I don't really have the answer to it. And honest to God, if I did have the opportunity to go back in time, which I won't, likely, because if at some point I had created a time machine in the future, I will have to go. Is that the future past tense? Because I will go to have been in the past. Actually, no. If I ever build a time machine, I'm going to the future, because the future hopefully will be better than the past. It would be stupid to go back to the 1400s. Why would you go back to the 1400s? They don't have plumbing. They don't have electricity. They don't have actually, they probably have plumbing. They don't have immunizations. They don't have vaccines. They don't have basic health care. They don't have, I mean, you could go back there and be just a king you'd be the smartest motherfucker in the entire world if you went back to the 1400s. Even if you just have an 8th grade education, you're the smartest guy in the world if you go back to the 1400s, because they don't know algebra. Well, they do, and they know algebra in the Middle East. They don't know algebra in Europe. You could run that joint, but then, some bishop will probably kill you. Anyway, that's a ramble. I'd go into the future. Yeah, I'd absolutely go into the future, because, you'd figure out more stuff in the future, and it'd be cleaner, and, the stainless steel walls and all this. Absolutely go into the future. People going in the past. If you get a time machine and go into the past, you're done. Shame on you. Don't do that. And also, I'm not really worried about changing. If I did go into the past, I wouldn't worry about changing things, because there's an infinite number of paths that can lead you back, and an infinite number of paths that can lead you forward. Anyway, that's a whole nother discussion to be had. Time travels. Just fascinating. Let's catch up with chat real quick, and I will get back to talking about how karma's fake, or make believe. Change scenes. Come on, don't crash. Ah, beautiful. Let's see here. Walter, long time. Best show on the internet. Thank you, Safety Doc. Yes, we will make it happen. That is making it happen. Doc coming on the show talking about futurism and logistics and how they interact. This just updated real fast. Joe's having the sin merchant epiphany. Yeah, I've called myself a sin merchant for years. I'm good at I'm very proud of my sin merchant street cred. School of Errors is being reissued in paperback. Awesome. Find us on Twitter. Moose Gal's back. Cheers, Moose Gal. My sin merchant epiphany. What if the human doctor, here we go. What if the human doctor saved a human who killed other human? Well, see, that's the whole that's the thing. You the doctor, you saved people, but the people you save go off and commit murders. You are like, I mean, you don't get to dodge that. you don't get to dodge that responsibility. In the same way that I, as a sin merchant, I can't be held responsible for what people do with my product once they leave my store. I can tell them the best I can, guys, be responsible. Don't drink and drive. Don't, you know, I am well aware of the ills that are associated with alcohol, especially people who irresponsibly drink alcohol, and knowing full well that there are irresponsible people who have bought my whiskey. And they take a bottle, they go home, they get tore up a little bit, they get a little uh, their inner demons are uninhibited, and they slap up a kid, or they slap up their spouse, or they get in the car and they drive when they shouldn't be driving, and then they cause damage and kill people. I am well aware that that can happen, and in a world where there is karma, I am fully responsible for that as a sin merchant who sells the naughty stuff. In fact, we're probably going to have one of our Vlogentine shows about our uneasy relationships in America with various sins like love and sex and drink and smoke and all the fun stuff that people do, drinks and drugs and all the stuff, because those relationships need to be managed too. But that's a whole nother thing. In a world where karma exists, that karmic blowback comes right back to me too. Same way with the bar owner, same way with the waitress, same way with the guy who runs the shop, that the ice cream salesman. Obesity kills, and you're selling ice cream that leads to obesity. You also sell happiness. I sell happiness too. I sell good times. Uh, I sell good conversations and great friends and even better whiskey. But I can't avoid the Surgeon General warning on the back of my bottles that says, can cause uh, cancer, can cause, what all does it say? Do not drink when pregnant. Do not operate vehicles. Is not good for you. It is poison. Um, in a world of karmic backlash, that is bad, and that comes back to me. And that's not that. It's not just a personal decision for me to look at it and say karma's fake. Karma's make believe. It's also looking at the larger repercussions of being able to say, look, this only works. Good things happen to good people and bad things happen to bad people. If you do good things happen. If you do bad things happen. That only works in a very narrow scope of 1 degree, maybe two. And then after that, now you're starting to apply conditions. You start to have to apply conditions, and once you start to apply conditions, then it becomes very subjective. And once it gets subjective, then it ceases to have meaning. It's all relative. It's subjective, and it only works from a certain point of view. And if it only works from a certain point of view, then it doesn't work. That's what's great about math. Math works whether you like the results or not. Math works. uh, And yeah, safety doc. 3% of the entire world population died in World War II. And it wasn't just 3% like across the world, like a Thanos, half the people, randomly. It was 3% of very specific populations, and some populations even more, some populations less. Obviously the Jewish community, the Gypsy community, Russia and Germany, Poland, uh, what other? France suffered a lot of casualties, but not as many. Uh, as far as civilian and military casualties, Russia probably highest. The Jewish community with the Gypsies and all the others that went to the concentration camps, they were probably, I think they were second behind Russia's uh, military and civilian populations that really took it on the chin. Um, but there's plenty of videos you can watch about that. We don't need to talk about the horrors of World War II. But at the same time, because of that vast loss of population all throughout Europe, it was a very serious restructuring of society all throughout Europe, and that serious restructuring of society led to what we know of as modern Europe, modern European society, which that world order as it exists today probably wouldn't have existed. Possibly, it's hard to tell because a whole lot of things have happened over the last 70 years. Um, So we can look at it and say that's an objectively evil thing. That thing was objectively evil. Yet, out of that objectively evil thing, we have a whole lot of stuff that we wouldn't not, if we had the choice to not have them today, we wouldn't take that choice. We wouldn't take the choice to not have, uh, well, in Europe, they wouldn't take the choice to not have socialized healthcare, universal healthcare, the universal education. I mean, here in America, we're fucking like, no, don't give me healthcare. We want to be sick all the time, which just, again, boggles my mind. But I don't, there's a whole nother discussion to have, why people spend $6,000 a year to not go to the doctor. Why the fuck? I don't, people. Anyway, but that's a whole nother discussion to be had. Maybe we bring that up in the infrastructure talk when we have that in a few weeks. It also gets to the issue of time travel. If time travel was happening, well, you see, that's just the thing. If time travel does exist, would we have purged the Hitlers from the world? Because without the Hitlers of the world, we would. You kind of need that drastic restructure. That's one of the things that we'll probably talk about in that futures discussion. Like when you have infrastructure of what you have and you're trying to cram new things in, it's really hard to redo rail lines that are basic, steel and wood rail lines for electric rails. You have to basically rip out all the old rail lines and lay new rail. But, if some other country comes through and bombs all that shit out, and now you don't have to rip it up. It saves you the expense. It just, if some country comes through and bombs all your cars, well, now, you have to replace the fleet with new cars. You don't have to like everybody needs to buy new cars. So you might as well buy, the whole AI enabled cars. If it's much easier to rebuild a city grid if you had a fire take out half the city, objectively bad. Fire takes out half the city, objectively bad. But, now you don't have to deal with all the old buildings. You just build new ones. And you build new ones that are energy efficient, that are properly insulated, that are arranged well, and have all the HVAC and internet wires and all the stuff. You don't have to retrofit anything because retrofitting is expensive, but building from scratch, oh, building from scratch is fantastic. If you could sit down and design a new healthcare system that didn't involve private hospitals and insurance companies, oh, you'd absolutely do that in a heartbeat. But, you have these insurance companies, these billion-dollar corporations. If you could sit down and design a political system that didn't just have two deeply entrenched political parties, you'd probably be able to design a better system from scratch. But the fact is, we have two billion-dollar institutions that are anchoring the thing. So even if we did have time travel that could go back in time and purge out the Hitlers of the world, of the Hitlers of space-time, would we have? Would we? I mean, would we really have? Because of those forces of social change. Sometimes, sometimes forces of social change sometimes look very well. They always look very destructive. Sometimes they look bad. Sometimes they look good. And let's not forget the public transportation strike that Martin Luther King led, that led to desegregation of buses in Louisville, almost bankrupted the city because the people who were boycotting the buses were the very people who were trying to change the laws, and it that was revenue that the city was getting, that it almost bankrupted the city. And that was the point, to almost bankrupt the city. It was economic warfare being waged on the city was it? No, it was Montgomery bus boycott, not Louisville. But that was the whole point, was to shake the foundations that existed so that you could wipe it clean and build it up from scratch, or force them to restructure it as if it were being restructured from scratch. That's, I mean, looking back at history, some of the people we see as objectively good, like in American history, I guess you'd go with George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, those guys, who like founded a whole country. Like from a certain point of view, maybe there'd be people who are like, no, maybe we shouldn't have America be independent. Maybe they should be part of the British Empire for a few hundred more years. And then, they get decolonized just like everybody else in the 1950s. But only if World War I and World War II happens. But if World War I and World War II happens and America is a British colony, this gets into a much bigger conversation, which is why karma is so hard to put your finger on, because there's so many dadgum variables once you get outside of the first and second degrees. Once you get outside of the first and second degrees, once the decision you make to interact with a person gets outside of your direct sphere of influence, you no longer have control of the good or bad that you did. You're taking a bird and letting it go, and you have no idea who that bird is going to shit on. And that, at its root, is how hard it is to put a flag in looking at karma and saying, aha. And I mean, there was an entire TV series, a 4-season TV series. I think it was NBC. The Good Place. You've seen it. Most of you seen it. Probably seen it. It's very popular. You should have seen it. If you haven't seen it, you should have seen it. Let me look back at chat. But The Good Place was all about that. Points for doing good stuff. You lose points for bad stuff. Get points for good stuff. But what they found. Spoiler alert. What they found was, even when you did good things, the ripple effects of your good decisions had bad consequences, because it's not a simple system anymore. An interconnected world, you get flowers and give them to your honey. You did a good thing, right? You brought joy to your loved one, your spouse, your significant other. You brought them joy. You brought them flowers, but those flowers were sold on the street corner by, whatever. They were picked by people who were on flower plantations and kept in poverty, or whatever the story is. The almond milk is leading to droughts in central, or no, not droughts in central California. It's leading to droughts upriver from central California because almonds take up so much water. That sort of thing. You try not to use regular milk, but you end up using almond milk that does all the bad stuff. I got sidetracked off of chat. I'm sorry. Let's roll down. I'm rolling down. I'm way behind on chat, and I am sorry. Humans are plots by squids to. The human was a plot by squids to kill all humans. Hey, I believe it. The most craftiest of creatures. That's me. Most craftiest of creatures. That's me. Pravda. My chat rolled forward. I'll get there. Fourth turning. Like winter, we go through. Yes, exactly. McTubus, you're right. Like winter, we all need to go through dark periods. Dark periods grow character. They reveal character, grow character. In many ways, they grow character. Good times reveal character. Hard times, no. Hard times don't grow character. Hard times reveal character too. But yeah, mountaintops only exist because of the valleys, and if you don't have the valleys, you can't have the mountaintops, because that's the whole point of terrain. Otherwise, everything looks like fucking Oklahoma, and nothing should look like Oklahoma or Kansas. Ugh. Pancake flat for as far as the eye can see. Mandela effect. Yeah. I got things to say about the Mandela effect too. A lot of times when people refer to the Mandela effect, it's really just a mistake. And a lot of times the Mandela effect, like, is it Fruit Loop or Fruit Loops? Is there an apostrophe on the S, or is there not an apostrophe? That sort of thing. That's just bad marketing. That's just bad branding and bad product development. Because if you're good at product development, you don't have to wonder about those things. It's the Flintstones, or the Flintstone apostrophe S, or Flintstones plural. If you're good at branding, if you're good at marketing, that doesn't happen. They know the brand, they know what it is, and if that was a thing that was an issue with my brand, You know, if people are like, is this the brand or is this the brand? And they were like debating between the two, I'd be like, I am rebranding my logo entirely. We are not doing this game. This is what we're going to be. Like, is Tony the Tiger left-handed or right-handed? Which finger, which hand is he holding up the finger? Is it his left one or is it his right one? Ah, Mandela effect. No, it's just bad branding. That's just um, now, this is a thing that just came up recently. You know, there's a common meme, you know, the record scratch, and yep, that's me. Bet you're wondering how I got here. I swear to God, I remember seeing that movie. As a kid, he's on a bike, he's in the middle of a bike wreck. He's like, yep, yep, that's me. Bet you're wondering how I got in this situation. That never happened. And I know scores of people that agree with they've seen that movie too. From the early 80s, kid on a bike, they've seen that movie. Movie never happened. This guy recorded that meme. There's been versions of that meme, and this guy actually recorded the audio like in 2017. But there's been versions of that meme all over the place for years, years. But I remember that movie from the 80s, but that never happened. Um, and you know, I remember the music. Um, uh, Teenage Wasteland, I think. Yeah, I think that was the music. The diddly 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 diddly. Anyway, get into the weeds. We don't need to talk about that. So, back to chat. Sorry, I keep getting distracted. Because y'all's chat is good, and it just leads me to talk. See again in March. I'm gonna fire up the LHC. What the hell is an LHC? I need to know what an LHC is, McTubus. Um, oh, LHC. I know what LHC is. Fruit Loops. Um, murdered human tunas. Okay. I need to. The other cool thing about StreamYard is being able to click on. Uh, yeah, here's McTubus. You're not responsible for that. Just like guns don't kill people and spoons don't make people fat. Uh, no, actually, guns don't kill people and spoons don't make people fat. But if you take a gun and put it in somebody's hands, and you know that they are if you know that they are not somebody who should have a gun and you put the gun in their hands, you are just as responsible. Uh, and that's confirmed by the law as well, because the guy who sold the guy the gun who held up that synagogue up in Dallas, that guy got arrested for selling the gun illegally to the dude who went and committed a crime with it. You are 100% responsible if you arm the person who commits the evil, according to the law. Morally speaking, probably even more so. But according to the law, you are absolutely responsible. If you are a parent, and I think it's 30 something states, if you leave a handgun, unsecured handgun out, and your child picks that gun up and kills somebody, you are responsible for that child's actions because you left that weapon out and that child picked it up. The child was, you know, just a kid, just a baby. Guns are so easy a baby can use them. But if you leave that out, you are responsible. There's very few sheriffs who enforce that law because you know you've got a toddler who just murdered somebody, and now you're going to arrest the parents for the toddler's murder. So now you not only have one tragedy in the family because it's usually a sibling or a neighbor tragedy, but then you're also losing a parent, and now they have all the legal fees that go with it. There's very few sheriffs because sheriffs are elected in the state of Texas, at least very few sheriffs that actually enforce that law. But according to the law, in most states in the United States, you are liable for that. And even federal law, if you illegally sell a gun to a felon or somebody who's not supposed to have, say, me as a certified server, if I give you the drink and you go off and kill somebody, I'm liable because I'm the one who got you drunk. That's why bartenders will cut you off when you're sloppy drunk at their bar, because if you're drunk and they serve you, they're liable for you going out and killing somebody. You are absolutely responsible for that, not only in the eyes of the law, but also morally, because you're literally arming somebody who is dangerous, and you know they're dangerous because they can barely sit up on the stool, and you're like, hey, have another drink, because why not? Now, alternatively, if you're a smart bartender, you might serve them enough that they pass out. But if you have a passed out drunk in your bar, they could actually die in your bar, and that's probably even worse. Um, now we can discuss the legitimacy of dram shop laws and all that sort of stuff. But okay, so what if the human doctor didn't save the killer, but another doctor did? Why are you accountable for the other human? Well, I don't think you'd be accountable for the other human. Uh, I that's a good question. I don't think you'd be accountable for the other one. I mean, you did your part, I suppose. But um, oh, let me roll my way down a little bit further so I don't get lost in the weeds. Yes, Japan did suffer a lot of casualties, but I don't think Japan suffered as many casualties as Europe. I'm pretty sure. I'd have to double check the data. I can't remember, but I don't think. Uh, I mean, Russia suffered like 25 million. German, of course, in the Jewish community, there was like at least six. Um, I think it was six. Uh, Germany as a whole didn't suffer the full, didn't lose a full 25 million, but Russia was the ones that clocked in with the big number of like something like 25 million, and I think it was something like 5 million at Stalingrad alone. Um, there's Y'all can look it up; it's in Google's. Uh, uh, yes, North Africa had high casualty numbers, but North Africa didn't have the population that Russia and Germany and Poland had. North Africa, it was obviously a big campaign area, and Italy too, but Italy didn't have the population numbers. If you have you can lose a significant portion of your population, but if your population is only a couple of million, you're not going to lose as many people. Um, you're not going to lose as many people as if you have a population of 150 million. And I think at the time, I think at the time, the Battle of Stalingrad, the Battle of Leningrad, the battles of St. Peter's. Oh, shit, I can't remember the Russian names at the time. I think Leningrad and St. Petersburg are the same city, but I'm pretty sure Stalingrad was like the single highest casualty count of any battle in World War II. But I can't remember. I can't remember off the top of my head. It's been a long time since I've seen that data, so I don't. I can't speak. I can't speak very uh, confidently about that information. Da, 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 da. Uh, yeah, okay. So yes, I am assuming competent and non-corruptible people, whoops, are going to be doing the infrastructure changes. Well, I mean, I'm not assuming competent and non-corruptible people will be doing infrastructure changes. I mean, when you send in a fleet of bombers, they're doing a infrastructure change, but when you send in a fleet of bombers, they're not exactly competent civil engineers. They're very competent at destroying things because that's what bombs do. Um, and corruptible or not corruptible, that's subjective. Um, but well, it's relatively subjective. Uh, nah, it's not very subjective. I mean, the corruptible is the presumption of the law, and we complain when industry insiders help to write regulation, but industry insiders complain when industry outsiders write regulation and they don't know shit about the industry. They're idiots and they're ignorant of the industry. I had to deal with that in my former job when I was working in the death care industry, when people who were not a part of the death care industry were saying, oh, well, you have to have this documentation in order to distribute funds out of the trust. And when the fact is that they didn't get that documentation sometimes for weeks after the funds needed to be distributed to the family to pay for the services that were being rendered uh, uh, at the time of services. Like people need to be buried. Granted, the people can wait to be buried; they're not going anywhere. But generally speaking, the family wants to get this stuff wrapped up and done. They don't want to sit there, if Pawpaw dies in November, they don't want to sit there and wait until January or February to get a death certificate in order to have the funds paid for, or the funds distributed to pay for the funeral that was supposed to happen in November. So when industry insiders don't write regulations, you tend to get really bad regulations and stupid regulations. Industry insiders need to be a part of it. But government shouldn't be run by industry insiders. Government should be run by elected representatives. That's the whole point of having governments. Otherwise, you end up with something very different that we've seen before in the past, and it's not good. Karma is about intent. Yeah, well, but it can't be about intent. I mean, karma. That's a good point. That's a good point because you can intend to do good and accidentally do bad. But then again, that makes it entirely subjective from the point of view of the person taking action. And you can say, well, I didn't intend anything bad to happen, as you're doing something objectively bad, like, oh, I don't know, inciting a rebellion. Like, I didn't expect them to pick up guns and go shoot people. I was just telling them they have to fight for their rights. And then, they got out of hand. I didn't intend for him to go drive home. I didn't intend for him to take the bottle and go into the woods and get drunk and then drive home and kill 3 people on the way home. I didn't intend for that to happen. But, at the very least, I probably should have said, enjoy this responsibly. Like, at the very, very least. That's tricky because you can't control people's actions. You let the bird out you let the bird out and fly, and you can't control who the bird poops on. That is the greatest challenge when it comes to the problem of karma. You can't control, once you let the bird go, you can't control who the bird poops on. All you've done is save the bird. What happened? Oh, Solitude Surfer. What happened to Solitude Surfer's comment? Did he delete a? Oh, I missed that. I'm curious. Okay, can I view? Okay, I'm going to do this real quick because I can do this. I'm curious. I want to see what happened. Can I see it? Okay. Okay. Fine. You've saved us from a, I guess, inappropriate fart joke. I can't be responsible for other people's stupidity. That's right, McTubus. You can't be responsible for other people's stupidity, but in so much as you are responsible for magnifying that stupidity, you can be held responsible for it, and that there is a point at which your freedom and responsibility intersect. You can't yell fire in a crowded theater. You can't stand up. I mean, you have freedom of speech, but even the government says you cannot do things that will objectively cause harm. You can say, well, I didn't expect everyone to freak out and run. I mean, they can stand up and look around and obviously see there's not a fire, but you can't do that. That's against the law. That's intentionally causing harm. I can't be responsible for people looking around or not looking, for people just being dumb, panicky morons. Well, if you're the one causing the panic, you can absolutely be responsible for that. And it doesn't always lead. Illegal does not mean immoral, and immoral does not mean illegal. Those are entirely two different things. You can, in the eyes of the law, you can be doing something perfectly legal, but it's still inappropriate and immoral, and in the context of karma, at least, should come back and bite you in the ass. It should, but you know, only if karma is applied selectively, because you can't if it can't be universally true, is it a way to or is it a fair way to organize the universe if it can't be universally true? That is that's probably, let's see, should I, no, not that. Let's do this. Shrink, nope. Come on. I want to shrink this screen a little bit this way and move me a little bit further that way. Yeah. And maybe shrink that this way. Yeah. Sweet. I really like OBS. And see, that's the general, the repercussions of your actions have repercussions, equal and opposite reaction, that all that sort of thing. That's true too in the cosmic sense. That's true not just in the chemical sense, where you light the rocket on one end and the force this way equals the force that way, and that's how it balances itself out. But it's also true in real life where I can't just go into the other room and drop my ball sack on my sister's face and think, oh, it's fine. It's just my actions. Why should you have a reaction to that? I mean, gross. Uh, but actions have equal. And I can't be responsible for how she reacts to that, but I am absolutely 100% responsible for causing her to have to react to that. We don't live in bubbles. We live in societies. We live in, as long as there are 2 or 3 or 4 people, you live in a society. You can't cut yourself off from that society, and still participate in the benefits. Like, it would be inappropriate to cut yourself off from the society and still expect to live in the benefits of society, or to accept the benefits of the society and then refuse to participate in the guardrails that maintain that society. That's what community standards are all about. When a community decides, this is what we're going to do, we're going to protect our property values, but we're not going to have any neon yellow houses. And then everybody's like, yeah, that's a really good idea. We'll protect our property values and not have neon yellow houses or rainbow houses, or, we're not going to have any roofs made out of palm leaves, because we're going to protect the values of our houses. Collectively, together, we give up a little bit of our freedom in order to participate in a society. And in that sense, you're absolutely responsible for your actions and the repercussions of your actions. And in that sense, the idea of karma is cool, in the sense that community standards get maintained. If you're gonna go and piss in everybody's mailbox, well, the community should get around and exact karmic justice upon you. But if your intent was to piss in everybody's mailboxes in order to sterilize them, because ammonia is a sterilizing agent, and ammonia is found in urine. So your intent was simply to sterilize mailboxes so that the mailman is not spreading pathogens between houses as he goes through the neighborhood. You may be misguided and stupid, but you at least had good intentions while you were doing an objectively bad thing. Are you free from the repercussions of your actions just because they were intended to be good? Are you are you free from the repercussions of your actions if you were the person who told that idiot that peeing in mailboxes will sterilize the mailboxes so that the mailman can't spread pathogens among the population of the neighborhood? Are you the individual who spread that lie free from repercussions? Karmic repercussions, if they even existed. Arguably, arguably, the community standard would be, yeah, that guy's a dick and that guy's a dick. Let's teach them both a lesson and show them what's what. But as far as karma goes, in the broader sense, is that bad enough for them to have an anvil fall on their head because of karma? Or maybe bad enough for them to trip on a crack? because karma. You stub your toe on the bed frame because you peed in a bunch of mailboxes, or you told a guy that he should pee in a bunch of mailboxes. I can't tell you how many people I have told over the years that the best way to tell if you're coming down with a cold, or coming down with the flu, or coming down with some kind of disease, or to test if you're dehydrated, or to test if you've got enough iron in your system, or to test if your blood sugar is too high. I can't tell you how many people I've told, for whatever ailment you can come up with, that they should drink their pee. Because if you drink your pee and it's sweet, then I can't believe I'm saying this out loud. I've done it on social media, so I can fucking, who cares? If you drink your pee and it's sweet, then your iron is low, or your sugar is high, or your sugar is low, or you're dehydrated, or you're overhydrated, or your fatigue level is high, or your T count is low, or your T count is high, or whatever. You're coming down with a flu. You're in the early stage of the flu. You're in the late stage of the flu. You're in the recovering stage of the flu. You have a upper respiratory infection, a lower respiratory infection, an earache, a sinus, whatever ailment. If you drink your pee and it's sweet, then clearly you have that ailment. And also, by the way, you need to tell us that you drank your pee to confirm this diagnosis so that we can all make fun of you. I can't tell you how many times I've told people this. One, because it's funny. Just the thought of me in my living room thinking to myself, some dummy out there is drinking their pee. See if they have the flu. I find that to be very amusing. Mostly because deep, deep, deep down, I'm kind of a 12-year-old. Um, but also just because it's objectively funny. But now, if somebody actually goes out and drinks they like don't see it's a joke, and they're like, "Oh yeah, maybe my pee's sweet, and I'm sick." Am I now responsible for this idiot going and drinking his pee? Or if this idiot tells some other idiot to drink their pee, am I now responsible for two people drinking their pee? Because I made a stupid, an objectively stupid and funny joke about drinking your pee, or drinking. I guess it would be drinking your own pee, because you can't really drink somebody else's pee and diagnose whether it's sweet, because you don't know if their pee is sweet or not compared to its baseline. Because you'd have to actually drink their pee when they're not feeling sick, and then drink their pee again when they are feeling sick to get the anyway. Gross. Sometimes I wonder how many people have actually done that. It's uh, I really hope to say, well, I'm reading through Hobbes' Leviathan, very basic superstructure of society. Um, Three Gorges Dam, Float Society, da 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 da. I'm reading real quick, catching up. Eyeballs dried out, 17 pages in. Americans believe, yes, Americans do believe anything moose cow. Although I cannot say for sure that anybody has drank their pee based on my recommendation. Although I have heard people like recently have been drinking their pee, some COVID related thing. I don't know. I don't follow the dumb shit associated with the current pandemic. I try to focus on the real shit. So um, that's not my bag. Um, Hobbes was there in the 70s when he wrote, and all the angry old man who was bummed out from war. Okay. Um, yes, McTubus. I yeah, tell people absolutely go drink their pee. Um, Humans waste therapeutic benefits. There you go. I actually just caught up with chat. Looky there. What time is it? Is it 10:30? 10:41. All right. Well, this now, guys, we're at the end game of the show. That is my wow. That was like a 45-minute monologue about karma and bullshit, and drinking pee, and peeing in mailboxes. So you know what? You know what I'm gonna do? No, I can't. I gotta go. I have an early morning. I was gonna say I'm gonna go ahead and go late, but I can't go late. I gotta get up in the morning. Y'all see you tomorrow. We can talk about this tomorrow. I'll be on the show. I'll be live at the distillery doing stuff tomorrow. I've got another couple. I've got another couple of coats of varnish to put on those tables, a top coat to put on the tables, and then after I put the top coat on the tables, or while I'm putting the top coat on the tables, I'll be boiling water for my next batch of whiskey. Once the top coat is dry, I'm going to start uh, bottling up whiskey again. So yeah, we can carry this discussion on tomorrow. I am. I mean, I'm not without. Um, that was drinking bleach. Drinking bleach was definitely last year, but no, I'm talking about in the last like 2 weeks. Something about uh, something about drinking pee. I don't know what it was. It just kind of popped up a couple of times. In fact, what I saw was "Don't drink your pee." I don't know why people are telling people not to drink your pee. I just assumed that people were told to drink their pee because of COVID, because of all the other dumb shit surrounding COVID. They're like, I won't take a vaccine, but give me some dewormer and pee. Well, come on. Anyway, that's a whole nother discussion. So let's go back. This has been fun. I really like this interface. So just to recap, whoop, wrong screen. There it is. Just to recap, karma's fake. I'm not without the ability to be convinced. Um, I feel like I have a fairly solid argument on my behalf. Maybe this should be something I do on TikTok. Like convince me that karma's real. But the challenge, of course, I'm willing to be convinced. I'm absolutely, and maybe there's some deeper understanding that I don't have because I'm just like some suburban dumb white guy in Humble, Texas, who, I'm not well versed in the Hindu faith. That's where karma comes from, right? Hinduism, Buddhism. Buddhism's not karma; it's Hinduism, right? I'm willing to be convinced. I'm willing to be educated. If anybody knows anything, like factually things, the spiritual underpinnings of what karma is and how it works and why it works and da 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 da, I'm willing to be convinced. I'm willing to at least try to understand it deeply. My misgivings, if it can be called misgivings, my logical issue, my stumbling block comes when you start going out in this concentric circles and the knockdown effects, the second and third and fourth degrees of your actions, because you can you can intend to do good and still do harm. Like go back in time and kill baby Hitler. You good out of that. Clearly, you're going back and committing infanticide. You intend good, but you have no idea what the ramifications of those actions are going to be after you take those actions. You can't control who the bird poops on, and the that's where my logical breakdown happens with the karmic question, and why I will argue until I'm educated otherwise, because I'm always willing to be educated. Because education's fun. It's one of my favorite hobbies. Is education. Learning shit. Uh, anyway, so there you go. We can carry this conversation on in the morning. I'll be live streaming from the distillery at some point in the morning. I'll probably schools are all closed because we're in the middle of our first deep freeze of the year. Schools are all closed, so I'll be saddling up and heading to the shop relatively early, around 10 o'clock, to get some work done. Put in a good solid 4-hour workday, and then come back. Besides, I got to make sure I have the graphics set up for the show on Saturday, and I'll probably show those graphics off tomorrow. For Jay's show live from the distillery, is this the one? Is that it? Right up over here? Yeah, JBZ live from Old Humble tomorrow. No, Saturday at 1 o'clock. The show is pinned. Not pinned. The show is pending. It's a live program on Saturday on our page. You should be able to see it when you go to our channel. If not, it's in our community section. It's a community post. You'll be able to find it there. So there's that one. Also, be on the lookout uh, for, and Jay's show is the first of many. And I'm very excited about that because in March we have a mini music fest. Do I have the mini music fest? Uh, I don't think I have that graphic for the mini music fest, but I can have it up in a minute. Uh, our Vlogentines series is live. We're on episode 4, maybe, of the Vlogentines. Mini Music Fest is the next one that I want to plug. We're discussing love and other relationship or love and other delights on our Vlogentines party. It is a daily vlog, a la the Vlogmas series that we did, 26 days of consecutive posts. But this one is 14 days of consecutive posts. And like I said, we're talking about relationships. And right now, I'm in relationships. We're going to move from relationships to finding relationships. Uh, you know, how to get what you're looking for. And spoiler alert, you've got to know what you're looking for. And a lot of times people aren't honest with themselves about what it is that they're looking for. And they say they're looking for one thing, but they're not really looking for the thing. They're looking for, uh, they say they're looking for one thing, but they're not really looking for that. You know, like, you're not looking for a husband. You're looking for a child that you can take care of, or a grown-up child. Next week, I think it's next week, we're going to be talking about space stuff on this very channel, this very sure. I'm looking for my download of the Music Fest, the mini Music Fest. I thought I downloaded that picture. I thought I did. I must not have. I don't think I did. Or I downloaded it, but I don't have that file type. Uh, all files. Let's look at this. Maybe this will tell me what I'm looking for. Yeah, there it is. Our music festival. There it is. Will this show on the screen? It did show on the screen. Hot diggity damn. Looky there. Okay, so in Vlogentines, we'll get rid of that one. We'll get rid of this one. I'll come up to this one in a second. Move you over here. Yeah. So that's our Vlogentine series that we're doing. And then the next thing that we can do, yeah, look for the map of Tiny Perfect Things. Old Humble Reviews, the map of Tiny Perfect Things. It is a great movie, and we did a good review. And watch it. Watch the show, watch the review, then go watch the movie. It's on Amazon Prime. It is delightful. That is our periodic show that we're doing where we review things. Our first 2 were movies. Our next review will be food or drink. I'm going to do a comparison of old fashioned from the bottle and old fashioned that is handmade from scratch. And then the food that we do is going to be the steak buffet at the men's club. Me and my buddy Carl are going to review that and determine whether or not it's good for a date with a lady. So there you go. I'm going to go. Those are our next couple of episodes. Lisa will be picking the next movie. This movie was one of my, though she picked this one, but it was one of my suggestions. So she will be picking the next movie that we do after I do the food and drink episodes. Also, when we hit 550 subs, I give away a bottle of whiskey. We are at 527 right now. So tell your friends, tell your family, tell your enemies, tell your brothers, and tell your sisters. Tell your parents, tell your kids. No, don't tell your kids unless they're over 21. If they're not over 21, don't do it. And then, Jay's playing this Saturday in February. On March 5th, we are live streaming out the Old Humble Music Mini Music Fest, food, music, and whiskey. It is March 5th. The party is from 12 to 9. The stream is from 1 to 10. So it's going to be an all-day affair, and it's going to be fun. You don't have to watch the whole thing. I strongly recommend you do because the artists are off the chart, unchained, awesome. You're going to enjoy it if you watch it. We're going to do drinks. We're going to do food. We're going to do interviews. We're going to do cocktails. It's going to be the type of show that I envisioned us being able to have from the distillery when I started the happy hour way back in March. And then we're doing it again in April, and then likely I will be able to take that footage and cut it, and then do some kind of montage for our Memorial Day show, unless we do another live show for Memorial Day. So we got a lot of cool stuff happening, a lot of cool stuff coming. And as I mentioned in the first half hour, um, yes, McTubus, you can't control who the bird poops on. That's the takeaway. Um, whole conversation about on that on Leb. What is Leb? Uh, what is Leb tonight? Update. Come on. What is Leb? LEB. I don't know what that is. You're gonna have to educate me of what that is. But I said before in the first half hour or the second half hour, I can't remember when it was. I have set a goal for this channel. The numbers in the analytics, largely for my purposes, are arbitrary numbers. But I have set an arbitrary goal that's a nice round number that's joyful and happy of 100,000 views by the end of this year. I'm going to be programming a whole lot of shows to help hit that mark. See what kind of stuff that we do that really fits within our uh, realm of skill and interest of our audience. Whiskey news, the Old Humble reviews. I'll be reposting this show on Monday as the replay. Doing a whole lot of different stuff, not only to get to this to blow past this 550 sub mark. And by the way, the 500 subscriber special, when the weather breaks, I will be recording that overnight in the cemetery. And our 600 subscriber special, I'm already planning it out. It will involve explosives. My lovely wife thinks it's a bad idea, which means it's a great idea. Lisa thinks it's a bad idea, which means it's a great idea. My kids think it's a bad idea and they want to participate, which means it is a fucking fantastic idea. It will involve explosives. It will be a live show, and it will kick off when we have 995 subscribers, because the intention is to pass 600 during the live stream so that we can do the thing that I've planned for our 600 subscriber special. And the closer we get to it, the more I'll talk about what that's going to be. But it will be an explosive special. Can't wait. Let them burn. LEB, of course. Let them burn. Doy, I knew that. Um, of course, of course. Now, to get over 1,000, that is also a nice round number to have. I'm not going to lie, it would be nice. That's another arbitrary number. Getting me up over 1,000. That's another arbitrary number that is meaningful in the YouTube world, because 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours means I can be monetized and I can collect AdSense money. But because I am a recreational drug and my subject matter is not advertiser friendly, then it's not going to make any difference if I'm monetized or not. But what will make a difference is the more subscribers we have, the more views we have, the more exposure we have when I do these live shows on Saturdays. If I can do one live show like this, like I'm doing with Jay, like I'm doing with the music festivals, if I can do one live show a month, the bands that come on the live shows and show their music off can get exposed to new audiences. The new audiences are outside of their local music scene. They can get a call from, they might get a call from a new locale, a new location, a new community, and then be able to take their music from Houston or Humble or Spring or wherever, and then go to San Antonio or Austin or New Braunfels or Green or Bernie or Nacogdoches or wherever, Alexandria, Shreveport, Oklahoma, any of the 3 or 4 cities in Oklahoma that have plumbing. They could be able to take their show on the road. So it's not just, the community exposure for me is great. I want to build a community where we can get together and we can have a good time and we can kick back and relax and have a few drinks and talk. And ideally, out of that community and out of that good time, people go out and maybe buy a couple of bottles of whiskey. That's great. Um, but the original goal for doing this channel and these shows was to be able to have a happy hour, to be able to kick back, to be able to relax, and to be able to have a little community. The larger the community is, the better. More the merrier. And ultimately, if we sell whiskey out of it, even better, fantastic. But more significantly, the people that we bring on, whether they're authors who write books, or bands, or singer-songwriters, or artists, or performers, or whatever they do, if they can expose their art and expose their craft to a larger audience and then gain from that larger exposure, I'm all for it. That's what we're here for. That's what I want to do. I want to entertain folks and sell whiskey. For this purpose here, I want to entertain folks and sell whiskey in that order. At the distillery, I want to sell whiskey and entertain people in that order. Or when I go to Specs, I want to, or Total Wine, or any of the stores when I go on my road show, I want to sell whiskey and then entertain people. I'm not there to have conversations. I'm not there to do a dog and pony show. I'm not there to do any of the others. I'm there to sell whiskey. And everything I'm doing at those stores is intended to sell whiskey. I can't sell whiskey online. I can't, because the state of Texas won't let me. I can't sell, the distillery can't sell whiskey and ship. Me personally, send me a DM. We have arrangements that we can make. So the goal of this obviously isn't to drive people to my website to go buy whiskey. The goal of this is to, entertain and have fun and relax in my spare time and my downtime, and ultimately to maximize the effectiveness of that. We pick arbitrary numbers in the analytics. So this year, the goal is 100,000 views by the end of the year. It could be 75. It could have been 60. It could have been 75. It could have been 150. It could have been a million. Whatever. I picked 100,000 because that's a nice round number. And it's ridiculously ambitious because last 12 months had 20,000 views. So we're going to see what I'm going to go at this as a student. I'm going to study the algorithms, the analytics, and the driving forces. I'm going to learn how to do a better happy hour show. I'm going to learn how to do other interesting shows like movie reviews and food reviews and cocktail reviews and whiskey news and live streams from the distillery and live concerts. And I'm going to learn how to do all kinds of other entertaining things. So ultimately, the net result for you, fair viewer, dear viewer, is a better YouTube experience from this idiot who's learning how to be a better entertainer. And one of these days, maybe I'll be able to hand all of this off to somebody else. Somebody else can put on the hat and the flannel and be the old humble guy. And I can be the guy at the distillery, and somebody else can be the old humble guy. And maybe we'll have a good old fashioned talent pageant where we'll recruit a new old humble guy, and we can have tryouts just like they did with Jeopardy with a new Alex Trebek, and see who can don the hat and shades and put on the new look flannel and be the new old humble guy. Maybe we'll do a new one for every year. Maybe it'll be an old humble guy 2024 and an old humble guy 2026. We'll do even years. Maybe we'll do that. Who knows? There could be, but one day I can foresee a day that I get to retire from doing this and somebody else is the entertainer and I can just be the old grumpy guy in the office yelling at these kids to turn the damn music down because you're getting on my lawn and going to crush my azaleas or whatever. It'd be fun. I mean, that's Tuna. You can message me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, email. Go to the website, to the contact page. You can email me. In fact, on the About page for YouTube, there's the email. You can email me there. All roads lead to me. I'm my social media manager. I'm my marketing manager. I'm my communications manager. All roads lead to me. So anywhere you can get a message to Old Humble, you can get a message to me. You may need to send it twice. But there you go. Yes, Lisa, bad idea means it's a fantastic idea. But Lisa and my lovely wife, no, I don't want to, not to speak ill of them because they're wonderful, lovely people, but they don't like any of my ideas, or most of my ideas. They don't like them. They think, they don't like to have fun. They don't, don't drive too fast. No, don't drink, don't smoke. What do you do? Must be something inside. Um, yeah, that's a song. That's a cultural reference, kids. That's what's known as a cultural reference. Goody two shoes. Don't drink, don't smoke. What do you do? Don't drink, don't smoke. What do you do? Must be something. Look it up. Ask your parents. It's a great song. Um, Yoga episode. Wait, what? Hold on. Uh, Safety Doc did podcast shirtless? I'm not going to do a podcast shirtless. Although I have talked about live streams. I have noticed that I've gotten fat over the last year and a half or so, and I have committed myself to losing 5 pounds a month over the next 12 months, in addition to 100,000 views by the end of the year. So I am proud to announce that as of the end of January, I'm down 5 pounds. So now it's 5 more for February. I am on track. It's a very attainable goal. 5 pounds is not that hard. You can drop 5 pounds by changing your orange juice or changing your cereal in the morning. You can drop 5 pounds by skipping a meal almost. It's not that easy, but maybe go run a couple of miles and you'll drop five. Unless you're already skinny, 5 pounds is relatively easy to lose. And if you're as fat as I am, 5 pounds, you don't really notice it right away. But after 3 or 4 months, I'll notice it. So I'm very proud to announce that I've hit my initial goal. And maybe by the end of the year I will do a shirtless episode because I will actually look fairly. I would like to run another marathon too. I ran a marathon a few years back. I would really like to run another marathon. Maybe one of these days I'll go over there and show off my medals. Um, uh, all of the places. Yep, there it is. Nightbot. Thank you, Nightbot. Tuna. Uh, yeah, maybe Lisa will be the next Old Humble guy. The next Old Humble guy could absolutely be a girl. There is absolutely no reason why the Old Humble guy can't be a chick. I mean, we can be dudes, we can be chicks. The Old Humble guy, this persona, I invented it out of whole cloth. I mean, it's largely based on the legends of my life, going all the way back to the 1400s. But hell, the 400s. Jesus, I've done some things. Whew. Yeah, I mean, most of my cocktail ideas come from prior to 1950. Um, those were good times. Um, I got to find my rye. We're going to have one last cocktail and sign off for the night. Um, but yeah, there's absolutely no reason why the next Old Humble guy can't be the Old Humble gal. Absolutely no reason. There's the spirit of being the old. There's a spirit of adventure and the spirit of campouts and the spirit of you. You've got to be willing to share the good word of the spirit. The spirit must be in you, and you must be one with the spirit to be a proper evangelist. See what I did there? But there's absolutely no reason why the Old Humble guy can't be an Old Humble gal. Sending a bottle or two over to the Whiskey Tribe, the Whiskey Vault guys. Yeah, I have. I've contacted them and offered, and there's a story to be told there, but not in public. Maybe for another time. Maybe if you come see me at the distillery sometime and you ask me those questions, I will tell you the full story of what I offered them and what they said to me, and then what happened next. And yeah, I mean, I'm totally down. I am always down to send a bottle to people. Absolutely, 100% always down. In fact, Fred Minnick. If y'all know, some of y'all know who Fred Minnick is. Some of y'all, most of y'all, I assume, do not know who Fred Minnick is. He's a big California whiskey influencer. Runs the Ascot Awards. program out there and other stuff. There's a big blog, magazines. Uh, I know him. I am 2 degrees away from him. Well, 1 degree away from him. Yeah, no, 2 degrees away. I know someone who knows him. And I've indirectly spoken with Fred, and Fred is going to come visit my distillery sometime this year, and maybe we'll be doing a barrel pick with the Fred Minute guys. We'll see. We've got some stuff working with Fred. Of course, Bourbon Bounty. That they had their Thursday giveaway show, and us, not to belabor the fact, but we will be giving away a whiskey bottle when we hit 550 subs. What is that? That's a big W. Why is there a W there? What on earth is that? Why do I have a W in the corner of my screen? Bye. Sure, get rid of that text. Yeah, get rid of that text. What the hell is that all about? Huh? That's confusing. That's suspicious. I don't know why I had a W up there. So yeah, we'll be giving away a bottle of whiskey when we have 550 subs, and that 500 subscriber special will be coming out probably in the next month. Fingers crossed. I'm hoping for the weather to break. I get a good Friday where the weather breaks, so that I can go out there and spend the night in the cemetery. That's all I'm hoping for. Just one good Friday night that I can go spend in the cemetery and see if there's any ghosts that show up. That's all. I just want to see if there's some ghosts. I know a couple people who are interested in paranormal stuff, and they'd be willing to spend the night out there with me. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I know I started a little bit late, so we should be pushing up on the 2-hour mark now. And I'm going to sign off, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, children of all ages. Thank you all for joining me for yet another installment of the Old Humble Happy Hour. It's been amazing. It's been a lot of fun. We talked karma. Gave updates on the channel, gave updates on our goals. If anybody has happy birthdays or anything they want to throw into chat, go for it. And we're just going to call a night. Be awesome to each other. Knock yourselves out. Knock yourselves out doing good things. Don't even worry about the consequences. Don't even worry about whether or not that guy's going to take that $10 and go buy cigarettes and drugs. Fuck it. Who cares? It's not your problem. You've done good. It's a selfish act. Doing good is a selfish act, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with being selfish. Make your heart full of good stuff, and tend the garden, and make the world such a good fucking place around you that everybody else wants to do the same goddamn thing. Do that. Do that and do it with a smile. Till next time, guys. Cheers. Boop. There it is. Cheers. Salutations. And we will see you next time around. Be awesome to each other.